All right, guys, it's Jeff. Back again. It's been a while since I've recorded a video. Yeah, a number of reasons for that. Finding time and I've had one or two, issues with my health recently, which I've been trying to get it sorted out. Nothing life threatening or nothing. So I'll be around for a bit longer to the joy of some and the detriment of many more, I would imagine. But yeah, I wasn't even really going to make a video today, but I saw a YouTube video earlier, which kind of got me thinking, and maybe I ought to throw a few cents in on this, and I'll upload a link to this in the description, I think. And it's a discussion between Chris Shelton and Lloyd Evans on Chris Shelton's um the YouTube channel, which I would recommend anyone, I recommend people check it out if they got an interest in one of the subjects I'm about to discuss. Now what they were discussing is, now if you remember, some of you might remember, a little while ago in Russia, the Jehovah's Witnesses were actually officially banned by the state. That they're not allowed to, they're not allowed to operate in Russia legally. And I think there's a kind of a speculation that the Church of Scientology may be the next one to get banned in Russia. Now, I want to say straight away that I am no way going to be an apologist for the Watchtower Society, and especially the Church of Scientology. Neither of them are groups that I like. Good reason. Both could probably be argued to be more cults than religion. People seem to have different definitions on what's a cult, what's a religion. Some people will argue that all religions are cults. I don't necessarily know that I hold to that exact view, but certainly with both of those particular groups, that it could definitely be argued, that with the JWs and Scientology, I think definitely in particular, could definitely be argued as being a cult. But this kind of begs the question, and there's been sort of talk about this sort of several months with the whole thing within Russia, and about the banning of the Jehovah's Witness Church and so on. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, great, they're a cult," blah blah blah. Well done, Putin. I don't necessarily know that it's a good thing to do. And this could be a whole wider topic, in a sense of should religion be banned? Should religious groups be banned? Now, I mean, okay, it's not really for me to necessarily tell Russia how they should be running their country and so on. But this video between Chris Shelton and Lloyd Evans was interesting. To explain who these guys were, Chris Shelton is a former member of the Church of Scientology. And Lloyd Evans is an ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Both of these people been, subjected to different things. Lloyd Evans, he's had people from his family sort of shun him now, because that's a sort of a thing that happens within the Jehovah's Witnesses. People get shunned when they leave by their friends and families and so on. Which I think is a disgusting practice. I really do. And as for Scientology, what can I say about that? That if anyone, by anyone and any chance who is not familiar with the Church of Scientology, I don't need to go into it. There is plenty out there on the internet, and there's plenty of films, documentaries out there you can watch, or channels I can recommend. Just to say a few of them, the HBO film Going Clear is a definite one to check out. Also, Leah Remini's documentary series, and she of course is an ex-Scientologist, an actress and ex-Scientologist who left the Church of Scientology and has been kind of very critical of them. So there's them. There's guys like Chris Shelton, Tony Ortega, what's that? Tory Magoo, just to name a few. That there's if you have no idea what Scientology is, check any of those things out. So that's all I'll say about that. What they are really. But this does kind of make the question: is it constructive to ban religions? I don't know that it is. And particularly ones that might, religious groups that may have a sort of very cultish kind of aspect to them. I tend to find if you start when sort of rules and when what I find a lot, I think, with religious groups is a lot of them love that I don't think you should underestimate what it might feel like to be of a small group that feels like they're being persecuted. A lot of religious groups seem to have like a persecution complex there. Even when you hear it particularly in the United States, you hear Christians, you hear them claiming that they're being oppressed by atheists all the time, which when they're not, of course. In some countries, Christians are oppressed. In other countries, sort of, Muslim groups face levels of oppression. Jewish groups, it's this sort of thing goes on around the world that, depending on who's in power and whatever. And I don't think you should necessarily underestimate the sort of how zealous someone who feels that they're being persecuted can become. So I don't know. Here's the thing: they've banned the JWs in Russia. Does that mean that the JWs there are going to stop believing? Probably not. So it's So if anything, and more to the point. More to the point with this, because it's really irrelevant to me whether they believe or not. But does this really affect the sort of elders in the Watchtower Society that much? And not really. If anything, I think it kind of strengthens them and their society, the elders in New York. And as I think Chris Shelton and Lloyd Evans sort of pointed out in their video, if Scientology is the next one to get banned in Russia, do you honestly think David Miscavige, who's the sort of guy who pretty much has ruled the Church of Scientology with an iron fist for the past 30 years, is he going to give a flying fuck about what few Scientologists there might be in Russia? Is he going to go out of his way to help them? Probably not. And if anybody, but it would give him a bit of a wang thing to say, we're a persecuted group, with blah blah blah. This would actually, if anything, just strengthens the kind of some of the leaders of some of these groups. It is a tricky subject, I think, to approach. I've maybe not had a lot of time to sort of think this one through, but I thought it was just worth mentioning that, I don't know that outright banning of religions is, or religious groups, even sort of slightly, culty kind of ones, is going to be a healthy thing for any sort of society. Now, I will say on another respect, I'm all for any group that separates church from state. And, I think this tax exempt status that a lot of religious groups enjoy, I don't think it's a very good thing. I think, there are certain, church groups and so on that do a lot of charitable work and so on. But, it kind of, when you look at probably how much they probably, would have been paying in tax, had they been taxed, a lot of the time you kind of got to think, yeah, if that money had been spent a bit better. Yeah, it's a difficult one, but I'd certainly, not in favour of tax exemption status or church and state, and I'm kind of that I do sort of believe in a sense of, that I think freedom of religion, in a way, is the best bulwark for freedom to get freedom from religion. If you get what I'm saying. But those are just my thoughts on it. I mean, I know this could open a real can of worms, and people can put what they want in the comment section. Because especially when we're talking about groups like the JWs, and in particular Scientology, who are quite a harmful group, and do sort of have policies of going after their enemies. I don't know if I've said enough to get myself declared as a suppressive person yet, or I'm going to get enough attention for them to start sending their private detectives around to my house. Good luck to them, but good luck to them if they want to do that. But but to be honest, that there's been so much out there about Scientology now. I mean, I don't think you're getting down to the last few people in the world that haven't kind of heard what this thing is yet. But those are just my sort of feelings on that. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later. And if I don't make another video beforehand, have a nice Christmas and all that. So salute.